Hello, greetings, and welcome. So, the name of this video is This is Not Broken. And there are three pointers, three ideas that I would like to introduce in this video today. So, the first one is This is not broken. Nothing is broken. Even the seeking, the confusion, the pain, it's not wrong. It's part of the undivided appearance. But this is totality. This is wholeness. This is nothing appearing as everything. It reminds me of a quote by Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda. He said, God has not fallen into a ditch. So God is okay. God doesn't need our help. And in that same way, this aliveness, this nothing appearing as everything, doesn't need the me. And the me doesn't need anything because the me is an illusion. There isn't a self. And that actually brings us to our third point. I'm skipping to for the moment. There is no seeker. There isn't a self. You are not a person. You are not the abstract conceptual self. There isn't a seeker. There's only the apparent seeking energy. And that seeking energy, if it feels contracted, which of course it does, then it is seeking wholeness. It will feel as if something is missing. Nothing is missing. That's Maya. That's the illusion. That's the misunderstanding, if you will, is that something is missing, but everything is here. Everything is present. I won't say that it exists because existence means to stand out, stand apart, and there's nothing here that could do that. So it's an appearance. And even the appearance sounds like a noun, like an object, like something, and it's nothing. It's just energy. Again, even energy feels like a thing, but it's a pretty good word. Energy moving, energy playing, energy dancing. Nothing, it's nothing appearing as this. So the seeking, of course, also is always seeking for a better experience. It wants pleasure and it doesn't want pain. Nisargadatta said, life is a river that flows between the banks of pain and pleasure. And between these two, my life moves. So obviously, we want pleasure, we want pleasant things, we want comfort, we want more. That seeking energy, rather, wants more, more, more. And it doesn't want the painful moments. But it's inevitable. If you are apparently experiencing yourself as in a body, the body is subject to pain. If you stub your toe, there's a moment of pain that will arise and go away. There could be psychological pain, for sure. There could be suffering, which is a resistance to what is. There could be physical suffering. There could be hunger or starvation, or just having a bad day where it seems like nothing is going your way. So all of this can happen. And there can be great joy, great love, great celebration, fun, comfort, ease. Everything is possible because this is everything. The third point is words don't matter. Words are empty. Before there were words, this was. Now that's a story in a timeline, but basically words have been invented by humans, right? Computer. Somebody decided to call this a computer, but it could have been called an apple, right? So words in and of themselves, they're all made up. And yet we get so upset by certain words. Don't call me that. Now, obviously, we have agreed upon these words, and I'm not saying that they don't have meaning in our relative personal life, but in terms of this message and what we're looking at the fact that words don't matter. So Advaita Vedanta means not to, the end of knowledge. And that end of knowledge means two things, because all knowing is dualistic. I know something. So it's the end of that duality. But it's also the end of the mind with its mental concepts and trying to understand something. This message is not about understanding anything or knowing anything. It is an exposure of immediacy, an exposure of no thing, nothing happening. Or we could say all that is happening is what's happening, and there's nothing else besides that. So, those are the 3 points. Nothing is broken. God has not fallen into a ditch. This is already whole. It doesn't need to become something, nor could it really become something, because again, all becoming is assuming that there is a future, and there isn't. Right now, there's no past. There's no future. There's no before what is, and there's no after what is. All there is what is. And even what is not a solid single moment. It's just whatever is appearing. This emptiness appearing as fullness, nothing appearing as everything, the absolute appearing as the relative. This is unconditional freedom for no one, unconditional love for no one. It's just whatever is appearing. Nothing is broken. This is already done. It's already done. It never actually started, but it's already done. It's already whole. It's already complete. So something might hear that and relax. The nervous system may hear that and relax. Really, a lot of these spiritual practices are about the nervous system. It's about the suffering or the tension or the anxiety that we feel in the body, the energy, the tension. This is not about words or a mental concept. Understanding can or cannot happen, apparently. And with that understanding, we say that a light bulb goes off. With that light bulb, again, there can be relaxation. Mostly, it sounds like we are trying to have relaxation. In fact, we, in the Hindu tradition, we usually end everything with Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May there be peace on all 3 levels, because this is really what people want. They want peace. And yet, as Adyashanti says, or used to say, peace is always present. It may not be in the foreground, it may not be in your mind per se, but if you just stop, take a moment, and look, peace is present. Wholeness is present. Immediacy is everything. That is what this is, an exposure of the equanimity of everything. Everything is equanimous, equal. There aren't actually multiple things. There are no things, no objects, no self, no me, no you, no I, no other. That is the illusion. I stands for illusion. So maybe you will have the same apparent reaction that I had when I heard nothing is broken. Like a remembrance. Of course, God has not fallen into a ditch. All is well. Now, I could say this, we could turn this video off and turn on the news, and the news will tell us something is broken. And in the apparent world and the relative manifestation, yes, again, that manifestation, which isn't really manifest, but in the relative world, again, there is pain and pleasure. There is a healthy body and a sick body. There is a car that runs well and a car that is broken. So, in that sense, in the relative world of duality, which is all the story, there are things that are healthy and sick, broken and not broken. But what we're talking about, what this message is pointing to, is this: what is not broken. Because what is nothing. How could nothing be broken? How could an appearance be broken? This is the play of light. How could light ever be damaged or broken? It's not. It can't be. So, in that sense, all is well. And it's pretty much impossible not to do this, but if you feel like a separate person or a separate seeker, you are going to want to escape suffering as much as you can to some degree, right? You will look out into the world and either consciously or unconsciously, you will decide these people or this area or this group, I'm not safe with them. Therefore, I will try to protect myself and I will hide from them in a way. And we're even doing that from concepts. Some people, if you mention, I don't know, any concept, it could be it could be political, it could be religious or spiritual. They really can't hear it. They get very upset. They get very triggered. They get very agitated because they're holding on to a belief that this is true. And if you say it's not true, how dare you? How could you say that? It is true. They get very triggered. Now, this is only for beliefs because a belief is something that we can't see. Therefore, we have to either believe it or not believe it. But this computer, I don't have to believe that it exists. It's right here. I see it. Or the sun, or the moon, or my dog and cat. They are present. I don't have to believe in them. They are here and now. And that's what this message is always saying. It's not a denial. Some people think non-duality is exclusive or it's a denial of something. No, it's an embrace in a way, which is dualistic, but an embrace of everything. It is the exposure of totality, of wholeness, that this is nothing appearing as everything. This is aliveness, energy. So everything is here. Everything. Even those things in your imagination or things that can't be seen, it's not saying that they're not there. It's saying that the nature of everything is nothing, emptiness, energy. It's an exposure. So that is that. And again, words. We could sit in silence. Obviously, we use words to communicate, to talk to people, to get our work done, to be functional. Language is very helpful for being functional in the world if you apparently need to get things done. And in the world, in the apparent world, of course, we do. We apparently, most people need to have a job, they need to work, and they need to be able to do that work with their apparent body and their apparent minds, but there isn't a mind. Show me a mind. In order to make apparent money to pay the apparent rent. So this is all an apparent story for no one. But again, you don't need to be thought police or non-duality police. You can say I until the cows come home, and it will still be empty. It still has no value. This is no thing, so it has no inherent value. You would need an object for something to have value, and really, you would have to have a someone who is assigning value to something. I mean, objectively, if you look at the planet, it's full of all kinds of resources and things like that, but it's only human beings who have decided that oil or gas or gold or silver have a certain value, either because we can use it again, it's a resource, it's something that can help us to become functional, or because we think it looks shiny or it looks pretty, like diamonds or gold or something like that. But again, as I've said before, if you give a child a ball, a really fun ball, colorful ball, and a brick of gold, he'll probably go for the ball because for him, already, even though he may not even be able to speak, the ball has more value. It has more meaning to him. It can give him pleasure. Apparently, he can play with the ball, and the ball will make him laugh and smile and things like that. But a brick of gold, he there's no meaning there for him. There's no value. There's no he can't use that gold in a meaningful way, or a fun way rather. Um, so yeah, again, value, meaning are things that we apply to something. This means something to me. No, hate to say it, but we do the same thing with people. These people, they mean something to me, but other people, in a general way, people might say, oh, yes, humanity, we all love humanity. But if we follow the money, if we look at how people vote, lots of things happening right now in America, in the world, about how people vote, about things that are happening right now, we can see what people actually value based on the decisions that they are apparently making. Now, I'm definitely going into a story now. Again, in non-dual terms, there's only what is apparently happening, and there's no doer, there's no chooser, there's no choice. That's why a lot of people don't like this message, because they want to feel empowered. They want to feel like, not only do I have a choice, but you have a choice, and you should make the right choice. And that's very understandable. Again, for the person who doesn't want to see suffering, of course, they are going to watch the news and be upset. Either party can say, this is wrong, this shouldn't be happening, this should be happening. So we have opinions, we have ideas, we have beliefs, and based on those, we vote, we make choices and things like that. But coming back to this, we have 3 minutes left. This will be a 20-minute video. It goes quickly, that no time. Let us just sit. And this is a story too, but if more people could perhaps come in contact with that compassionate love, the empathy inside, which is present for all human beings and all humanity and all plants and trees and animals, if that unconditional love, or even that conditional love in a way, could be accessed, if the realization that all is one could arise, then you might find less suffering and less violence in the world, and more help. Not only would war stop, perhaps, but there would be more of a community feel amongst all humanity. How may I help? How may I serve? Where is the need, and how can I possibly try to fill that need? My name is Phil, so I'm always trying to find the Phil that is in need. Now, again, these are words. I'm contradicting myself. I know I'm telling stories, but that's where I apparently am. There is the apparent contraction of energy, the experience of a subject-object relationship with reality. So I speak like this. I love the non-dual message, and I enjoy speaking it. But there is also the truth of this direct perception that there is the apparent subject-object relationship going on in this reality. So I can look around and I can see apparent things. I can understand that everything is nothing and nothing is appearing as everything. This is a play of light. But if you were to watch me going through my day, you would see all kinds of things happening, all kinds of reactions and opinions and things like that. And that too is what is. Everything is what is, actually. So in that sense, wrapping it back up, going back to the beginning, nothing is broken. Human beings are not broken. They are what they are. They are nothing appearing as human beings. So anger, sadness, fear, love, joy, pleasure, pain, desires, fears, it's all this. It's all what is happening or what is appearing to happen. Have a wonderful day and goodbye.